Hey everyone, I've just been tidying up my work area around here, and I've installed this old desk light, old lamp, that looking a bit ratty and tatty, so I think it might be about time the Star Wars this out of it. So my thinking behind why I've doubled two pieces of MDF up is so I can just inlay the perspex in there, and then when it goes on the light, upside down like that, when the light shines, I suppose it'll stop any sort of shadow because it's more open here and less open there, so sort of light goes that way. If that makes any sense. Anyway, it makes sense to me. It's a bit hard to explain. Whenever creating anything with MDF, you should always use an undercoat. Otherwise, the paint later on might make the MDF swell up a bit and look a bit funny. So this undercoat just gives it a nice finish, and you can lightly sand over it and just give it a really good base to paint on after. The MDF primer also fills in little gaps and imperfections really well, like around the little edges of anything that's been glued together, glued on. So I'm going to start the weathering now. This is something that I'm not extremely good at, but you know, the more you do it, the better you get, I guess. I'm going to do a bit of a chipping technique and some weathering. So for the base coat, I'm probably going to use some dark silver stuff, and then probably a bit of a rust, and then this over top, which is Rust-Oleum dark taupe. I don't know what taupe is, but that's taupe, dark taupe. So we'll see how we go. Alrighty, so this is like a bit of a test sort of paint that I did. So first of all, you got your base coat, which is the silver color. And then you want to do a little chipping effects with, you can use toothpaste, but I didn't want it to smudge and stuff or worry about, you know, too much mess later. So what I've done is I've used this Mascol stuff. It's like a liquid latex. So you just take that and you dab a little bit on there for where you think the chips are going to be. And then you want to do your second coat. I tried to get as close to a sort of rusty look I can get. So put that on top. And then I used a brush to get rid of all of the Mascol. Exposed the parts that didn't get painted. Then I did a bit more Mascol on top of those parts that didn't get painted and went over, made it bigger. I've sprayed it with my top coat. So now I'm just going to take the rubber latex off now. You can see how it comes off pretty easily. I think if I did toothpaste, I mean, toothpaste is a great idea, but I just find it just makes a mess. You gotta wash it and everything. When the latex just comes off just in bits of rubber and that's it, and it's done, right? So that's the sort of effect I'm kind of looking for as a chipping technique. And then I'll do a bit of a wash over top of it. So my second coat is this rusty color, and I'm using oil base, by the way, for everything, because the arm of the light is metal and I don't want it to rub off in the future, so I think oil is probably the best way to go. I don't have to spray the entire model, just over the parts that I masked with the Mascol. So I'm really liking this rusty paint color. I might use the same color for the final paint wash at the end. So I'm just going to remove the rubber latex Mascol now, and to expose the silver on the bottom side, first layer. Comes off really easily, and again, it doesn't make a mess. So that wasn't too difficult. Next is to use the mask call again and go over the spots you've exposed. And you can go a bit over. That way it'll expose some of the brown into the next layer. So for the top coat, I just got the garage door open. And I like this can. It's got these control flow settings on it. So I'm just gonna put it on 3, which is the lowest. And just give it a light coat, see what it looks like first, and go over it again, I guess. So I've given it a bit of time to dry. This paint, it just got really tacky over the next day or two. So I'd given it a good 3 days to dry. I just want to make sure when I started to rub the liquid mask all off, it wasn't going to smear the paint into each other and make a mess I didn't want. So after 3 days, it seems to be a lot better. And as you start rubbing it off, the mask all, you can see the chip effects showing through there. So I just mixed a bunch of water-based paints together and diluted it with water to make this ugly looking brown rusty color. I'll quite literally just brush it on and then wipe it off with cloth and then see what sort of effects we get. It's got a slightly damp Chuck's cloth just to sort of wipe the excess off. You just quite literally just go over the top of it and just try to get the result you want without putting too little, too much on. Don't know what I'm doing, just going for it. Dabbing it first and sort of wiping it. Bit of final touch-ups. Got some fine line panel here. Just gonna go inside wherever should be dark. I've also made this rust. You just put steel wool in the container and fill it with some white vinegar. And what that does is the steel wool will dissolve after about 3 to 4 weeks, maybe sooner, just depends. And then it'll just turn into this slew of rust, which is really cool to use. When the rust dries, this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. If you feel you put too much on, you'll just rub off. And you can go over it again. So that's turned out a lot better than I expected it would. I'm just going to hit it with a bit of a matte spray, and then it's time for the install. And I just want to address the elephant in the room, which is the arcade cabinet. So if you guys want to see a future video on that, I just need you to like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll get an update on when I release the video. And don't forget the model as well. There'll be a future video on that as well, the restoration, not restoration. That's it.